What's up, guys? Welcome to News Dump. Ricky's gone. Elliot Dump. So, ever since Jared Leto's version of the Joker was revealed earlier this year, all the way through the release of Suicide Squad, which ended up featuring a hell of a lot less of the Joker than some may have expected, Jared Leto's method acting abilities have polarized audiences and fans, as well as the co-stars that he mailed dead rats and used condoms to. So when Suicide Squad finally came out, it made many people, myself included, wonder just why the hell this dude put so much time and energy into a very minor role in a movie that wasn't very good. And yeah, sure, according to Leto, what we got in the final product was vastly different than what he signed up for, and it was missing a bunch of the scenes that he actually shot. Whatever, it didn't just feel misleading though, it felt like a waste of a hugely talented actor. Probably the best actor in Suicide Squad's entire bloated cast. And that's because Jared Leto is actually a damn good actor, and I mean, the mountain of awards that he received for the Dallas Buyers Club is pretty definitive proof of that. So, this past week's news that Jared Leto will be producing and starring in a biopic about artist Andy Warhol is really great news, especially since he'll be able to direct the same sort of intense method acting and preparation that he used for the Joker towards another really odd and unique person who actually existed, which leaves a lot less room for over-the-top antics and a lot more room for just sticking to the facts real good. Because in this case, the facts are interesting enough as it is. Andy Warhol is pretty much synonymous with the pop art movement in the 50s and 60s, which was all about disrupting the elitism of the fine art world by using elements of mainstream pop culture and commercialism. And you've almost definitely seen his series of paintings of Campbell's soup cans or his colorful silk screens of celebrities like Marilyn Monroe. But you could also argue that his own public persona was a carefully crafted work of art and that the real Andy Warhol was someone that very few people actually knew. So some interesting facts about Warhol include the fact that he was an openly gay man way before that was socially acceptable at all. He was at the same time a devout Catholic who attended Mass almost daily. He was bedridden and socially isolated for several years as a child and remained a hypochondriac for the rest of his life. He was closely involved with musicians like the Rolling Stones, Blondie, the Velvet Underground, and David Bowie. He coined the idea of 15 minutes of fame, which has in a lot of ways come true since he predicted that that's how the future would be way back in the 60s. And he was nearly killed in 1968 by a paranoid schizophrenic radical feminist who shot him through both lungs, his spleen, his stomach, his liver, and esophagus with one bullet, which is crazy. He lived though, but the event messed him up pretty bad for the rest of his life until he died in 1987. There's never been a Andy Warhol biopic, but he has been portrayed in movies and television a number of times in supporting roles. He was played by Crispin Glover in The Doors, by Guy Pearce in Factory Girl, by David Bowie in Basquiat, and by Jared Harris in the movie I Shot Andy Warhol about Andy Warhol getting shot, among many other roles. So it'll be cool to finally see a movie specifically focusing on him, and with a really good actor like Jared Leto playing the role. And along with Leto starring and producing, his co-producer is going to be Michael DeLuca, who has produced other successful true stories like The Social Network, Moneyball, and Captain Phillips. And the script's going to be written by Terrence Winter, who wrote The Wolf of Wall Street and created the shows Boardwalk Empire and Vinyl, and also wrote a number of award-winning episodes of The Sopranos. So, sounds like this project's in very good hands, and hopefully it'll attract a talented director who can bring it all together. But let's move on to trailers now. So that Ghost in the Shell live-action adaptation that everyone's talking about, starring Scarlett Johansson, it finally released a few very short clips that don't really show much, but they sure look pretty and sinister. And a YouTube user named Tim Gonzalez, he went ahead and just edited all those clips together into something that more closely resembles a real teaser trailer. I have to admit I don't know the source material all that well. I never read the manga or watched the 1995 anime, and for that, I'm sorry, but these clips have me very excited for this movie, so I promise to check all those out before the live-action version comes out on March 31st of 2017. Next, there's a new trailer for Red Turtle. It's the latest animated feature from Studio Ghibli, the Japanese studio behind Spirited Away and Ponyo and a number of other beloved award-winning films. And like those, this one looks absolutely gorgeous. The movie's description says, "Through the story of a man shipwrecked on a tropical island inhabited by turtles, crabs, and birds, the Red Turtle recounts the milestones in the life of a human being." And apparently it has absolutely no dialogue, which is pretty rare, and it means that this is a totally visual experience. It already came out in France and Japan because they get all the cool stuff first, but it doesn't come out here. in the US until January 20th, and it'll probably be in very limited release, so keep your eyes open for this one. Moving on to more straightforward movies for your average Joe moviegoer, there's a new trailer for Fist Fight, which stars Ice Cube and Charlie Day as two high school teachers, with Ice Cube challenging Charlie Day to a fist fight in the school parking lot on the last day of school after Charlie Day accidentally gets Ice Cube fired. This, of course, terrifies Charlie Day's character, who desperately tries to prepare for a fight that he is surely going to lose in front of an audience that just keeps getting bigger as more and more people find out about it. This has also got Christina Hendricks and Kumail Nanjiani co-starring in it, and it comes out on February 17th of next year. Then there's a trailer for Passengers. This is a new sci-fi movie starring Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence as two passengers on a massive spaceship that's on a 120-year journey to a new planet. But they wake up from cryosleep 90 years too early and find out that they'll just be spending the rest of their lives on this ship with only each other as company. I mean, not bad. Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, maybe they'll... I mean, no one else is around. Apparently, though, not everything is what it seems. Things go wrong, and the two of them then have to take desperate measures to make sure that the 5,000 other passengers that are still in cryosleep actually make it to their destination. This comes out on December 21st, just in time for Christmas, and it looks like it could be really good. A lot of buzz around this one. Moving on to TV, FX has released a new teaser for Taboo. It's an upcoming 8-episode miniseries created by and starring Tom Hardy, whose dad also co-created and co-wrote the series. Tom Hardy stars as a British adventurer in the 1800s who returns from Africa after several years of being presumed dead to avenge the death of his father, with the historical East India Company here presented as a sort of huge, all-encompassing, all-knowing corporate villain. FX released a longer trailer way back in February, but this new teaser features mostly footage not seen in the original trailer, and it definitely has me excited for it. There's still no hard release date yet, but FX says it'll debut sometime in early 2017. Moving on to TV that's coming out real soon, though, the Sci-Fi Channel series Channel Zero is premiering on October 11th, just in time for Halloween, and it looks like some damn good horror television. It's an anthology series with the first 6-episode season loosely based off the classic internet creepypasta story Candle Cove, which is about a group of adults who realize that they're all haunted by the same nightmares stemming from a children's show from their youth. I'm not sure how this absolutely fucking terrifying monster made entirely out of human teeth fits into that, but I guess I'll find out soon enough, and I'm sure I'll have sweet dreams. Moving on to internet videos, this week Hillary Clinton appeared on the Funny or Die series Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, and it was awkward and uncomfortable. But that's sort of the point. Being a guest on this show pretty much means just sitting in a chair while Galifianakis gives asinine and inappropriate observations and questions, which this time include asking Clinton how fast her typing was while she was secretary, pointing out that for anyone less than 8 years old, she could be their first white president, and asking what will happen if she becomes pregnant while in office. It's not going to really alter your opinion of Hillary Clinton either way at all, but it is cool that she'd be down to do this at all, and hopefully they can get Trump or Gary Johnson or Jill Stein in the hot seat next. We'll see. Balls in your court, Funny or Die. Ricky is still gone, and he will be for about another week and a half, so you're stuck with me, guys. In the meantime, though, check out our other shows. There's a new episode of Tugs where we talk about gaming news or something. I don't even remember what the topic was. Gambling. Gambling on FIFA. And then there's a new episode of Weekly Weird News where scientists are trying to cut people's heads off and put them on new bodies, but it's all for good, and they might just be able to pull it off. And also check out last week's podcast where we just kind of sat around the table answering all of your burning questions from Twitter and Reddit. And while you're here on the internet, be sure to go over to Funhouse's channel and watch their most recent Dude Soup podcast. You might see a couple familiar faces on there on the couch hanging out.
Is it you?
I don't know. You'll have to see. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Our podcast tomorrow, we got Clark Wolf, who you've seen all over the internet for sure, to talk about her favorite horror movies and our favorite horror movies and what makes a good horror movie just in time for Halloween. Check it out.